Hello everybody and welcome to the next part of creating a simulator game in Roblox Studio. Last time we added in these displays to display our money upgrades and rebirths. And for this video we're going to add codes in where there's certain words that people can redeem as codes, and they'll give them free items like rebirths or upgrades or money. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is add a button that we can click when we want to redeem a code. So we're just going to do a text button. And like all other GUI things, we're going to go into here, the size, and change it to 0.10, 0.10. And this, if you don't know, it means that it will be relative to the screen size, the size won't be in pixels. Alright, now we're going to just make it the size that I want it to be. I'll just have it be like this. Okay. And now we're gonna just change how it looks a bit. I'll set the color to the same thing as the other ones. And I'm gonna set the border size pixel to 5. Let's see if, okay. No, that's not right. Wait, hold on. Alright. So we're gonna go now into text scaled. We're gonna enable text scaled and change the text to codes. Okay, now that we have that done, we're gonna insert in a new text box to screen GUI. And also we're gonna rename text button to code button, and this new text box that we've inserted to code input. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing as before. We're going to set the size to 0.10, 0.10 to make it relative. And now we're going to move this, which is more difficult. It's more difficult to move something like this because you want to not accidentally input. I'm going to turn off active to make it easier to move. Okay. So I'm just going to center it into the exact center of the screen. And I'm going to make it a bit bigger actually. There we go. It seems to be centered. Now I'm just going to set it to the exact same design as all of our other things that I've made. Just quickly do that. And I'm also going to still set the text scale to true. Now for the text, I'm going to make it input or enter codes here. Okay. Now I want to make it so that this code input only appears when you click on the code button. So, in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is make it so that code input is normally invisible by toggling off the visible. And here, in code button, we're going to insert a script. The script is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be script.parent.mouse button one click, clone connect, function, and this just triggers whenever someone clicks the button. Now we're going to make it so that it makes the code input visible or invisible. It'll toggle it on and off. So we're going to do if script.parent.code input.visible equals false, which means that it is toggled off. We're going to toggle it on. And we're going to change instead of end to else and set it to equals true, because if it's not false, it's true. Not to equal true, to equal false. Because it's not false, it's true, which means that we have to toggle it to false. Let's see if this works. So we click codes and it makes this appear. Alright, that's good. Now let's make the actual code system. So we're going to insert a local script into code input. And right here, we're going to do script.parent.focus_lost connect function enter pressed, and then enter. And this is a function that activates every time that the text box, every time that the focus of it is lost, which means that a player is no longer typing in it. And this parameter right here tells us if the player pressed enter, which means if they submitted the code. So we're going to do if enter pressed equals true, then this means that the player entered in a code. Now before we do anything here, we're going to go back into Explorer and insert in a remote event. Then below the remote event, or inside the remote event, we're going to insert a normal script. Then we're going to rename, or we don't need to rename the remote event actually. Instead we're going to go into this script and do script.parent.onServerEvent connect function player message as our parameters. And the player parameter, it doesn't matter to us, but the message parameter is going to be what the code was. And in fact, we're actually going to change that to code. Alright. Now that we have that in, we're going to go back to our local script, and we're going to do script.parent.remoteEvent fire server script.parent.text. Then we're also going to add script.parent.text equals checking codes. And this will make it so that if for some reason this script takes a while, it tells the user what's going on. It tells the user that it's checking to see if the code is real. Let's go back into this script now. What we're going to do here is we need to check, is the code a code that we know of? Before we do that, we need to do a local leader stats. Local leader stats equals script.parent.parent.parent.parent.player_stats or just player stats actually. And this is because in this script right here is where we're going to change the money, rebirths, or upgrades, or whatever you want to change about the player when they redeem this. So, now that we have that, all we have to do is just if code equals, and then test code, I guess. And then we're going to put right here, leader stats dot, right here we're going to put leader stats dot, I'll just change the money dot value equals leader stats dot money dot value, and then we'll add like 1k to it, 1000. So now if we join and we go in here and we enter in test codes, you can see our money goes up by 2,337.5. Okay, now we need to make our codes. First thing that I want to do is make it so that that goes off of checking codes. So right here we're going to put script.parent.parent.code text equals redeemed code. Or actually, no, scratch that. I'm going to make a new variable right here, local redeemed equals false. And right here, we're just going to put redeemed equals true. And then at the very end of all, when you check all of the codes that you want to see if they entered in, we're just going to put if redeemed equals true, then script.parent.parent.text equals redeemed code. Else script.parent.parent.text equals invalid code. So let's see if this works. We go in our code, we enter in test codes. We get the redeemed code and we get the money. But if we enter in some random stuff, it says invalid code. Alright, great. But there's one thing that we didn't add yet, and that's that if a player were to redeem a code twice, it would work. And we only want a player to be able to redeem a code once. And for this, we're going to bring back data store. So local data store service equals game : get service data store service, and we're going to do local data store equals game : get, or not game : get, data store service : get data store, and then I'm just going to put codes. Okay, now we have that. We need to make sure we need to put in the system that prevents a player from redeeming a code twice. And the way that we're going to do this is every time a player enters in a code, we're going to create a new save in data store that is basically that a player entered in that code. And then every time a player redeems the code, we're going to check for any of those saves. If there is a save like that, then it won't work. So we're going to put right here, if data store : get async is, or if data store : get async, and then we're going to put player.userid. So right here, we actually are going to use player.userid, and then we're going to put ... and then test codes. Yeah, that should be it. Equals true. Then, or actually, we're just going to do does not equal no. Then, and this will just see is test code a thing, and if it is a thing, then it will not redeem, because we're just going to put return. But before that, we're also going to put script.parent.parent.text equals already used codes. Alright, so this will just check to see if the player has already used it, because it checks to see have we said that the player's used it in data store. However, what if the player has not used it? How are we going to make sure that in the future they can't redeem it again? Well, right here, after we give them the money, or you know what, we're going to put an else. We're going to do another else statement, and it's going to be data store : set async, and then player.userid ... test code, and then comma true, I guess. Okay. Let's see if this works. Now, since the system wasn't in place, it should let me redeem it right now. Okay, redeemed code. Now, if we try doing test code a second time, let's see if it works. Already used codes. Great. That's nice. And now, yeah. So we have a working code system in the game now. And if you want to just make another different code, you could actually just straight up duplicate this, except change it to like test code 2, I guess. And instead of changing your money, it changes your upgrades by 10, or whatever you want to make it. And it should work. You can see test codes 2. Redeemed codes, great. It gave us some upgrades. So yeah, that's a working code system in our game. And you can see between sessions, it still saves that we didn't do the codes. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this helps, and bye.